Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are back at Alphabet Zoo. It has been a long time, but we're here now and we're now working on a penguin habitat. So I did actually have to kind of delete everything I'd built and restart again. I wasn't happy with it, and I had built some habitats for this that I hadn't recorded. I lost the save file, so I figured I wasn't happy with how it looked. Let me just restart the whole thing. So there's a few habitats that I had built that I've removed. I've built this one and an otter habitat, so I will be recording those again. The seal habitat you won't have a recording for, I'm afraid, just because the video files were corrupted and I can't really build it easily again just because of the water mechanics in the game. I had to actually fix the game as well because the lake was very broken. So we currently don't have a boat ride in the game. I'll be putting that in at the end, and I've made the pool a lot deeper anyway, so the hippos can actually swim underneath the boat ride because it was very shallow with the amount of it was just getting very janky. This game is very janky, and there's no animals really in the zoo now except for baby animals. So just because I got rid of a load to help make it run easier. So anyway, this is our penguin habitat, and it is mainly accessible via Polar Point. However, there are a few other viewing points that are in other various parts of the zoo. And obviously, Alphabet Zoo is now in Sandbox because of the latest update, which is very exciting. So yeah, the idea of this is that there would be an indoor viewing area with where the penguins can come inside if they want to, and the guests will be able to view them there, and then there would be an underwater viewing area, which I'm not entirely happy about. I feel like it should have been a bit deeper. I didn't realise how shallow it'd be, but it is what it is, and to be honest with the zoo, there's not really a lot more I can kind of do with it, without, kind of breaking the whole thing, and the game is getting slower with everything I build, so I've got to be careful what I'm doing. So yeah, this is just the start of the indoor area. I didn't realise that I needed to make sure that the glass panels were on the roof bit, or on the ground, I say. And then I was just trying to smooth this out so that the penguins would actually be able to get into the water so it wasn't too steep for them. Yeah, and I wanted to maybe connect it to the polar bear habitat water-wise, but I wouldn't be able to do that because the water wouldn't all be the same level, so that was a bit of an issue I had. I also wanted to have a bit more concrete in this. I didn't really just want a dirt bottom. I kind of wanted to have a concrete bottom of the pool as well, make it a little bit more realistic. And yeah, here's me just sorting out this paneling, which has been a bit of a nuisance. So this bit here will eventually become the indoor area, and this is just me building, again, continuing the theme of Polar Point, and just building this to be an indoor kind of viewing area, and then the keeper entrance is going to be there. So yeah, I'm just bringing all this out, making it just so it's all pretty much on the same level as much as I can. This is where the building is going to go, and yeah, it's, again, I feel like Alphabet Zoo, I'm kind of falling out of love with it a bit, but I do want to finish it. I'm so close to getting it done now. We are getting closer, We've come this far with all these animals and all these habitats. I'm determined to get it done, even if it takes me till the next DLC is released. So yeah. So speaking of the DLC, I'll be putting sun bears, dolls, and I won't be putting the Babirusa in, and the proboscis monkey I'll be putting in Alphabet Zoo. But that won't be for a little bit. In fact, the proboscis monkey will probably be the next habitat I do in Alphabet Zoo. It'll either be proboscis monkey or otters. Probably proboscis monkey. But yeah, the otters, I've just decided to put them in because they are they can just be put down as otters rather than giant otters, and it is kind of close to G. I know it's not quite there, but it's, well, not G, O. O is quite close to P. And we have the okapi, which is the other animal that begins with O, and then this is going to be kind of for that bit. So you can see where I had the original otter habitat, and I'm going to just be kind of changing of that. And then yeah, this is just the water cooling station and the water treatment plant for the water, and I actually had to remove these because they were costing me too much money, so I put them back in those shops. And then this is just me finishing off making it fit the rest of Polar Point. So they go in, they can look at the polar bears, and then they can look at the penguins, which is very exciting. But yeah, it really did need to come into sandbox mode with the scale of it and the size of the zoo. It's just not profitable, unfortunately. So yeah, so I added some more just rocks and things just to try and help with the theming and just try and blend the whole thing in a lot more. And again, I do a little bit of decoration inside here. I did, unfortunately, the game did crash. It is it's crashing a lot for me at the moment. I don't think that's just because of the update, but it does crash. I think it's just because Alphabet Zoo is very chunky and hard to deal with. And so sometimes it does go a bit funny, but that's just the game, I guess, at the moment. It'd be better if they could optimize it better than they have done. But yeah, and I just wanted to have a nice bit of fake rock work in there. Like, I wanted the indoor habitat to look obviously fake, and I was just trying to have the guests to make it look like, can they actually see under that? And the answer was just about, they can just about see in the underwater area there. I couldn't decide on the colour I wanted. And I was just, again, playing around. It's the first time really playing around with the colour changer since the update. So yeah, this was the start of the indoor habitat for penguins. I wanted it to be feeling really artificial and really like, you know, it's being kept cold for them. So they have like a kind of cold area to escape to. And then this is just another viewing platform kind of over here that I'm just sort of covering up the mess of the concrete with. And again, I'll probably do some theming over there at some point, maybe when I do the otter habitat. But I just wanted to kind of get it all looking like it's part of Polar Point. And then yeah, so here I start with the inside, I think. I start having a look at, well, I start doing the roofing before I do the inside, which is not something I normally do. Normally I try and do the inside before I do the outside. And again, we're going for this kind of like cold glass house kind of a feel. Getting lots of natural light in, because for the birds they probably want a bit of natural light. And yeah, so a lot of this is just again trying to continue some of the theming. I didn't really want to go into too much detail with it. Like, this is the edge of the zoo, so it's got to be highly detailed inside, but then around the back it doesn't really matter if it's not very highly detailed, because this is the edge of the zoo now. This is the boundary. That's why I've started creating those mountains now as well, just because I wanted to make sure that it was like the boundary was marked so I could see where it was. And again, like, the penguins are a little bit out the way. They're not in like a nice central location. They are quite out the way. So I will probably have a monorail or something actually going around the very edge of the zoo, as well as a train on the inside, just to try and help it. And I'm gonna probably build another zoo entrance actually on this kind of side, and I might build another kind of by the Japanese macaques. We'll have to see how it goes. I need to see how we're doing for space, but we'll probably be doing that. But yeah, this is our penguin habitat, and now I actually believe I decided to put a billboard here, and I think I made our billboard. I will probably create a Google Drive folder to share some of the billboards I make as well. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of have a big billboard. I decided to get like just a picture of the Antarctic as well, so it kind of would merge in, because I want to kind of just show that like really, really nice kind of like landscape that they're living in. So yeah, and then just again continuing the theme outside with a bit more structural. Now this is where it crashed, so I had to kind of redo it. Like, I started doing the inside and then it crashed, and then I had to redo the inside again. And then I wanted to add just some snow rocks, just because I wanted it to feel like maybe when the snow disappears that there is still some like kind of like parts that keep the snow there. And then again just adding some rocks, trying to hide all the mistakes, as you always do in this game. And then just adding some ice blocks before I start kind of on the water side of it. The habitat, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much finished. They've got all their enrichment items and things in it, but I was struggling with this a bit as well. I was struggling to try and, I don't know, I'm just feeling really uninspired, I think, at the moment. And like with Alphabet Zoo particularly, with DLC Zoo actually it's quite easy because it's a new zoo and there's still a lot going on, but with Alphabet Zoo it's a bit of a struggle, and we haven't had any new build pieces for a while. You know, it's been like over 6 months since we've had new build pieces, so sometimes, you know, you find a new build piece and you're just like, oh my gosh, I love this piece, I use this piece all the time. But yeah, just making sure I'm saving it. Obviously I've got to remember to save it now because it won't save normally. Yeah, and then I think I just sat around thinking about kind of what I want to do with this for a bit. I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so sorry for the delay there. And again, I'm just trying to like, did I want to put cement on it? I think it's good to show this part of the process too, because I think at the end of the day, everybody goes through periods of time when they don't really know what they want to be doing with things. So I decided to put in some of my pre-made stuff. Again, you can get those on the workshop if need be, but I put those pre-made bits in there, and I just started to do some rock work just to try and make it all feel a bit more kind of natural and smooth running, because that has kind of been the hard bit, is just trying to make it so that they can go in easily and that it also, the walls feel like they're filled naturally. So yeah, this was the concreting that I did in the end. I didn't like how the ground looked, so I decided I would concrete it. I decided I'd do it so that there would be bits of dirt and rocks on the edge, because that doesn't really bother me too much. Because I think at the end of the day there would be a gradual accumulation of sediment in a pool like this. So there would maybe be some sediment at the edge, and then any other bits I would kind of hide, just to try and make it all blend together. And then obviously I sort of filled in the area in the pool, but then decided I would just try and get it to fit how I want it to. It's not been overly easy, but it's been this kind of nice like shape, I guess. I feel like again this would have been, maybe it's been there a while and it's kind of eroded away a bit. Yeah, so I must admit, the penguin habitats and the aquatic habitats, they're okay, but it's easier to plan, I think, a land habitat than an aquatic habitat. So yeah, just continuing some of this theming along here. This might have been stuff that was lost, I think. Yeah, this was lost a little bit, I think. And then, again, I just wanted to do some kind of rock work with the new rocks. Just a little bit of theming, because this is a very heavily themed zoo. Like, it's not an area themed per se, it's more of a habitat themed. And Polar Point is probably the only area that is actually kind of area themed, I guess, because we've got the pronghorn in like a cold habitat, and then we've got the penguins and the polar bears together. And then the rest is just very kind of random theming throughout, which I quite like, to be fair. And then I was just doing putting in the enrichment items, trying to get this to work the way I wanted it to, so that these guys can get in the water, and give them some stuff, just trying to blend this kind of stuff in, and then giving them some stuff underwater. Yeah, and then I do go a bit mad with the plants in a little bit, because I really like underwater plants. I think all the animals should be able to tolerate underwater plants. And yeah, just decided to get going with some of this because I wanted to make sure that, you know, there would be something in here, because I feel like there would be plants at some point kind of maybe just growing, just even if it's just algae, you know, like long stringy algae. I did put some caribou moss in just because I wanted some variety, and then these ones. I'm just trying to have a go at making some sort of kelp forest as well. I am probably going to actually be a little bit more lenient in the future on what I can put in the habitats, seeing as we are now in sandbox mode and I don't have to worry about it too much. Because to be honest, this zoo is getting to a point where it's getting too large to function like a normal zoo would anyway, so I don't mind if we're not going entirely realistic. It's not a realistic zoo, it's just more of a passion project than anything. I added some waterfalls because I feel like the penguins would like a waterfall or two, and I just wanted to like blend it in a little bit. It's not perfect, I guess, but yeah, just some icicles and things. I am struggling a little bit with love for this project, so I think as I get back into it, it'll come back, but at the moment I'm struggling a little bit. Anyway, I think this is bringing us to the end of the video now. So I hope you enjoyed the speed build, and please enjoy the cinematics of the penguins enjoying their habitat. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, because I could always love like the ideas for the inspiration, do let me know. The next habitat is probably going to be the otter habitat, and then it'll probably be the proboscis monkey habitat, I think. So do give us a shout if you have any ideas in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.